presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Arizona.
The break is over. It's back to baseball here in the great state of Arizona. D-backs back at Chase Field, opening up a 6-game homestand to begin this second half. Detroit Tigers in for 3 next week. But this weekend, it's 3 against the Chicago Cubs. And tonight begins the Trevor Cahill comeback story. Diamondbacks baseball presented by your helpful Valley Honda dealers. Tonight, it's Cahill for the Diamondbacks and former D-back Edwin Jackson before the Cubs. Good evening from Chase Field. Steve Berthew, Bob Brenly along the way. Welcome to the broadcast. Welcome to the second half of the season and a second chance for Trevor Cahill. A key part of this Diamondbacks rotation, trying to find his way back, Bob, after a demotion first to the bullpen and then to the minor leagues.
Well, and hopefully that demotion will work to his benefit. This is a guy that needs to get his mechanics straight, needs to find a way to throw strikes more consistently. You see his numbers in 6 starts at Reno at AAA. Not exactly what the Diamondbacks were hoping for, but keep in mind, this kid's only 26 years old. When he's right, he's a ground ball pitcher. That plays well in this ballpark.
So hopefully this is the start of the Trevor Cahill comeback story. His catcher tonight, Miguel Montero.
Hopefully build up his confidence level. I think that was the whole idea, because we all know he's got a good stuff to pitch in the big league. He was just, he just kind of lose confidence in all his pitches, and he was trying to do too much, and he kind of lost everything pretty much after that. But he's got the arm. He's got the stuff to be a great pitcher in the big league.
Remember, after a long break last season, Trevor Cahill came back. Final 9 games was very good, Bob. 5-0, a 2.70 ERA. That was last year, though. What to look for tonight?
Well, look for strikes first and foremost, always with Trevor Cahill. When he's in the zone, when he's down in the zone, he gets the ground balls he's looking for, keeps the pitch count down. That's what we're looking for here tonight.
Cahill and Jackson, D-backs and Cubs as we start the second half with 3 against the boys from the north side. All-stars in the lineup. Back from Minneapolis, it's Paul Goldschmidt and Miguel Montero. The lineup. So next, you're watching Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona. Baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you in part by Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. By Grand Canyon University. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Register now at gcu.edu. And by your local Lexus dealer.
Well, the All-Star break is over. The perfect time for the D-backs to get things cranked up, especially here at home tonight at Chase Field. The first of 3 straight against the Chicago Cubs. A pair of D-backs back from the All-Star game in Minnesota. Both Paul Goldschmidt and Miguel Montero back in the lineup for Kirk Gibson's. Our starting lineups brought to you tonight by Tire Pros. Gibby going with Hill, then Peralta, Goldie at number 3, and Miggy in the cleanup spot. After that, it's Trumbo, Prado, Hera, Didi Gregorius at shortstop, and the return of Trevor Cahill. Meantime, for the Cubs, Rick Renteria's lineup pretty stacked right now. In left field, Chris Coughlin. He's been doing some good things ever since the latter part of June. Then it's Alcantara. Rizzo was an all-star. He's got 20 home runs, 49 RBI. Then it's Castro, Valbuena, Ruggiano, Sweeney, Castillo, and then the former D-back and the guy who threw a no-hitter for this club, Edwin Jackson, the starting pitcher for the Chicago Cubs. But everyone tonight really concerned about the return of Trevor Cahill after that stint down to the minor leagues. He is back. He is starting tonight for the D-backs. How will he do? You'll see it next right here on Fox Sports Arizona. Steve and Bob, they've got your call.
Arizona is brought to you in part by CenturyLink, your link to what's next, and by Jack in the Box. If the D-backs hit a home run today, score a free Jumbo Jack tomorrow with a purchase of a large drink. Back at Chase Field, Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly along the way. 66 games to go for the D-backs as they begin the second half of the season at 40-56 and ready for 3 against the Chicago Cubs. And it's Trevor time. The comeback story starts tonight. Trevor Cahill, your Arizona Ford starting pitcher, his first start for the D-backs since April 13th. A chance tonight, in one sense, to begin again. His pitching coach is Mike Harkey.
He still has some things he has to work on, so he's still a work in progress. You know, we had to build him up, obviously, to get him back in the rotation so that, you know, he can stay up with the rest of the starters as far as pitch counts. So he's done that. You know, he did everything we asked him to do, and now we need to continue on with that adjustment, and hopefully it pays dividends.
Bob, any idea what to expect tonight?
I wish I could give you an answer to that question, partner. Obviously, if Trevor Cahill is good, you'll see a lot of sinkers down at the bottom of the zone, mix in an occasional slider for a strike, throw some change-ups, but just has to more consistently find a way to hit that strike zone, or especially the bottom of the strike zone. You'd like to think that his experience in the minor leagues was beneficial to him. Maybe he's come up with something mechanically to help him get in a better throwing position. You see the mix of pitches that Trevor will use in the ballgame tonight.
D-backs and Cubs split 4 at Wrigley Field back in April. We're underway for 3 this weekend. Strike 1 to Chris Coghlan, who leads it off for the Cubs. A hot bat in this lineup right now with 275 and 5 homers. The former Rookie of the Year at 24, just turned 29 last month and has had a productive summer so far. Pops this one up, third base side near the line. Didi Gregorius calling for it. 1 away. A look now at the Diamondbacks defensively behind Trevor Cahill.
Mark Trumbo out in left field. It'll be David Peralta sliding over to center field. Gerardo Parra out in right. Martin Prado and Didi Gregorius on the left side of the infield, while Aaron Hill and Paul Goldschmidt on the right side. Miguel Montero doing the catching for right-hander Trevor Cahill.
A chance for the home fans here to get a look at Mark Trumbo, who came back and played 3 games at San Francisco just before the break. And for Cubs fans, they like what they've seen from this young man, one of the future prospects that has arrived here at the big league level. Arizmendi Alcantara grounds out to Goldie quickly, 2 down. 2 outs on 3 pitches. Good start for Cahill.
Real good start for Trevor Cahill. Pitch count is always a concern for a guy that occasionally will walk the opposing hitter, fall behind in some counts. So those quick pitch innings, especially early in the ball game, really beneficial to Trevor. You know, and speaking of Trevor Cahill, we kind of lose sight of the fact he's only 26 years old. He's just a few years removed from an 18-win season with the Oakland A's, an ERA under 3 in that season. And this is a guy that still has a lot of good baseball left if he can just iron out those mechanics.
Strike 1 to Anthony Rizzo, just back from his first career All-Star appearance, already a 20-homer season. Rizzo voted in by the fans in the National League final vote. And this guy, Wrigley Field, of course, a good hitter's park, but 12 of his 20 homers have come on the road.
Well, that's because the first couple months of the season there at Wrigley, as we know, the wind usually blows in off the lake. Very tough to hit one out to right field at Wrigley Field early in the season.
Yeah, Rizzo has developed some fairly significant home road splits. He's a .314 hitter at Wrigley, but that average drops about 70 points on the road, but he is still an effective power hitter away from his home field. There's the splits. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, Trevor Cahill, designated for assignment by the D-backs June 9th, sent to the minor leagues 3 days later. And he said at that time that he wanted to stay in this organization. He believed that he could come back, be a starter, and help this team win. And now he is getting his chance, his first big league start in 3 months. Another ground ball right to Aaron Hill in shallow right. And it's a 1-2-3 first. Good start for Trevor Cahill. 8 pitches, 3 outs, just underway at Chase. for the Diamondbacks against your Arizona Ford starting pitcher for the Cubs. It's 30-year-old right-hander Edwin Jackson. Last season, no major league pitcher lost more games. This season, no National League pitcher has given up more earned runs. Here's Miguel Montero.
He's got a great arm. He's got pretty good fastball. And, he's in a pretty good physical shape. He's always maintained his good shape, and he's pretty durable.
20th start of the season for Edwin Jackson. He's lost twice as many as he's won. The ERA is over 5.5.
Now on his way to another National League leading season of losses. He lost 18 last year to lead the National League. 5-10 already this season. He's a workhorse. He's one of those guys that every team seems to find one at the tail end of your rotation. The numbers might always not jump off the page at you, but he'll give you innings. Most of the time will keep you in a ball game if you score a bunch of runs for him.
He has won just once in his last 7 starts for Rick Renteria. A loss tonight would be the 100th of Edwin Jackson's career. Ball 1 to Aaron Hill.
And you can see why people like Edwin Jackson. 95, first pitch of the game, has a big arm, can throw very hard, has a nasty slider to go along with it, an occasional straight changeup, but much like Trevor Cahill, can't command that strike zone, as he shows right there with the second pitch at 95 out in front of home plate.
Edwin Jackson hit hard his last time out. That was Saturday against the Braves at Wrigley Field. He allowed 9 runs, all earned, in just 3 2/3 innings. He also walked 4 and was booed off the mound at his home ballpark.
Gave up 3 bombs in that game also in his short day.
And he's behind on the leadoff man for the Diamondbacks, 3-0. This is just Aaron's 10th career start in the leadoff spot and his 2nd this year. Aaron Hill, 3 hits in the series at San Francisco last weekend, including his first home run since June 11th, more than a month. It's full. Corey Blazer, the plate umpire tonight, 3-2. There's the strikeout, 1 away. Jackson will put up some strikeouts. This is the Cubs defense behind him.
Well, he's only needed a catcher so far, but should he need some defenders, he'll have Chris Coughlin in left field, Justin Ruggiano out in center, Ryan Sweeney in right field. It'll be Valbuena and Castro on the left side of the infield, Alcantara and Rizzo on the right side, Wellington Castillo doing the catching for right-hander Edwin Jackson. And our Valley Honda keys to the game for Trevor Cahill: throw strikes, and against Edwin Jackson, make him throw strikes. Both of these guys have occasionally had issues with the strike zone.
This is not a matchup of control artists. 1-0 to David Peralta in the 2-hole tonight. A ball and a strike. Peralta 321 on the year. That is 4th best among all major league rookies. Jackson's bounced a couple. He's missed in, missed away. But there is that term that everybody always leans on: effectively wild.
Well, he showed that against Aaron Hill. Fell behind 3-0, worked his way back into the count, and ultimately struck out the Diamondbacks leadoff hitter.
On play, 2-2. This is a guy that you want in the lineup, especially against right-handers. Peralta hitting almost 350 versus right-hand pitching this year.
Yeah, Casey McGee, the real surprise on that list. He's the only right-handed hitter that's wearing out right-handed pitching.
Coming inside on 2-2. Got it out over the plate. Peralta lifts it down the line in left, and that drops in for a fair ball. Chris Coughlin picks it up off the bullpen wall, and David Peralta is in there with his 8th double. He continues to hit.
A A lot of Peralta's hits this season have been squared up line drives. This one not so much. Really had to pull his hands in. Kind of fights that ball off to the opposite field, but the Cubs were playing him to pull just a little bit. Coughlin had a long way to go to get to that ball, and as always, David charging around those bases, had thoughts of going for 3.
They call Yasiel Puig the wild horse, but Peralta runs the bases like a freight train oftentimes. You're not sure when it's going to stop. Here's Goldie just back from Minneapolis. Ball 1. Beginning the second half, leading the major leagues with 36 doubles, the most ever by a D-back at the All-Star break. Second in the National League in RBIs. Third in on-base percentage, slugging percentage, and OPS. He's ahead 2-0. Goldie 0 for 4 Sunday in San Francisco. That snapped his 11-game hitting streak. And that streak of reaching base safely in 32 straight games, which was a career high. Excuse me, check swing roller. Alcantara has it from the edge of the grass. Peralta to third, and that's the second out. That's one Goldie would like to have back, I have a feeling.
Looked like that ball had a chance to sneak through initially. A fastball running up and in. Goldie tried to check his swing. Alcantara was playing up the middle of the field. Had a long way to go just to get to that ball, but shows outstanding range and quickness. Looking forward to watching Alcantara play in this series. Heard a lot of good things about him.
And it's part of the future in Chicago, is that big group of prospects now slowly starting to creep its way into the major leagues at this level. So with Peralta at third and 2 down, the D-backs need a big 2-out hit from Miguel Montero. 262, 11 homers.
You see the numbers for Edwin Jackson in his first 2 innings of work. The ERA over 7. The whip over 2. Opponents hitting nearly 360 against him, but then settles in from the 3rd inning on, which is usually what you expect from a veteran pitcher.
Mentioned in his last start, the Braves knocked him out in the 4th inning. He's ahead on Miggy 0-2. Jackson booed off the mound at Wrigley. He hasn't had a whole lot of luck with Miguel Montero. And after that last start, Jackson called it just embarrassing. Flat out, no other way to put it, he said. He just kind of had to wear it. He has walked at least 4 batters in 6 of his 19 starts this year, but he's ahead of Montero 0-2. Miguel Montero just back from Target Field. His first half, the numbers have either matched or passed his totals from all of last year in several offensive categories. Jackson gets 2 strikeouts in the inning and strands Peralta at third. We've played 1-0 score at Chase Field. Boy, if I ever had a nickel for every time I heard that. You ate up the first zombie night earlier this season at Chase Field, so the repeat is back. Be back for Zombie Night 2, Saturday, August 2nd. D-backs and Pirates first 20,000 fans get a D-backs zombie bobblehead. Purchase tickets now, 602-514-8400, or visit dbacks.com, and we'll see you at the ballpark August 2nd. Another zombie night.
Now, on a zombie bobblehead, shouldn't the head just fall off?
It's a design flaw.
Oh.
Starlin Castro. Way to embrace the theme, though. Good season for Starlin Castro, hitting 30 points higher than what he finished at last year. And he'll lead off the second against Trevor Cahill, who worked a 1-2-3 first.
You talk about Miguel Montero and his offensive resurgence this year, getting back to what we expect to be normal from Miggy. Same thing could be said for Starlin Castro after a real rough year last year. He has equaled his power numbers already from last season.
Yeah, ahead of his totals from home runs and RBIs. Played a full season last year, and he's been good away from Wrigley Field as well. It's been something of a bounce back year for Castro. And he was voted in by the players to this week's All-Star game, his third career All-Star appearance. And you forget that this kid is only 24. It seems like he's been around for 10 years.
He's made 3 All-Star teams already. He's only 24 years old.
There's a strike on 3-0.
And his future with this Cubs organization may not be as a shortstop, may not even be with the Cubs for that matter. They have got a log jam of good young shortstops in their organization.
A leadoff walk in the second. Castro's aboard for Luis Valbuena.
Third baseman, number 24, Luis Valbuena.
Trevor Cahill has been given just over a month to stretch his arm back out after he pitched out of the bullpen 15 times. Got to build that pitch count back up. He threw at least 96 pitches in each of his final 3 starts with Reno. But the number that troubles you from the Reno stay, 20 walks in 28 1/3 innings. Strike 1 to Valbuena. Luis Valbuena, 255 homers. He closed the first half of this season in a 4-for-32 slump. Trevor Cahill, the bullpen role, that mentality, never something he was comfortable with, and now he is back in a starting role. Swing and a miss there, 1-2.
Good change up that time from Trevor Cahill. I mean, we talk a lot about his sinker and his ability to throw strikes with that sinker, but the ability to mix in those secondary pitches and make them weapons, make the opposition respect those pitches, that's going to make that sinker even more effective.
Double play possibility here. Aaron Hill, Gregorius to get the force on Castro, but that's it. Slowly hit ball to the first base side of second, so a tough play for Aaron Hill, and they'll settle for 1.
Fielder number 20, Justin Luciano.
Tries to pull that outside sinker way off the plate away. Just wasn't hit hard enough to turn 2, but fortunately Aaron Hill and Didi able to get the lead runner at second base, keeping the double play in order once again now for Justin Ruggiano.
Ruggiano, a guy that closed the first half of this season, has a productive bat for the Cubs, just over 290 now with 4 homers. The All-Star break came at the wrong time for him. He was heating up. He's got 19 hits in his last 12 games, including 10 RBIs. Cahill behind 2-0, trying to work on some mechanical changes that they tried to put into practice in the minor leagues. Biggest change for Cahill mechanically, he said, from his time in the minors, where he sets his hands to begin the delivery. He says out of the windup he's feeling pretty good, but from the stretch, like he's in right now with runners on base, there was not the consistency they'd hoped for. So with Valbuena on first, that's something to watch here, and he's behind 3-0 on Ruggiano. There's a strike, 3-1.
It seems like a small issue, but for most pitchers, that's where it all starts, where you start your hands in that set position. Depends on how quickly you get the ball out of your glove, how quickly you get the ball back into a throwing position, what your lower body is doing while you're getting your arm into that throwing position. And Trevor just trying to find that happy zone.
He was happy with it, as he said, from the windup, the new hand position. That worked out fine. It's when he gets into the stretch here where he just couldn't get comfortable, so he's kind of right now halfway between where he was originally and where they want him to get. That one bit Ruggiano a bit. A lot of moving parts, as Kevin Towers puts it. Cahill, a guy that mechanically has a hard time staying in sync and being consistent. 3-2 to Ruggiano. There goes Valbuena. Ruggiano strikes out, and Montero throws out Valbuena. The Diamondbacks end the top of the second with a strike and out throw him out. Ruggiano swing and a miss for the K. Montero, the caught stealing, no score in downtown Phoenix.
Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by your helpful Valley Honda dealers in their blue shirts. It's their job to be helpful.
Back home in the great state of Arizona, bottom two at Chase Field, Diamondbacks and Cubs. And for the D-backs hometown fans, a look at Mark Trumbo, back after missing 71 games with that stress fracture and plantar fasciitis in that left foot. Played 3 games last weekend at San Francisco. And back in front of the hometown crowd for the first time since April, when 1 for 9 with a single, struck out 4 times against the Giants, and is at an even 200 on the year. And Mark said he was glad to get a few games in before the All-Star break. That was one of his goals when he first went down. But it will be tricky in terms of the timing at the plate. He's back for 3 days after missing 70-plus games. Then he takes the next 3 days off with a break, and now he's back here.
I have a feeling, unlike the guys who played every day throughout the first half, Mark Trumbo probably spent a little time in the cage over the All-Star break. You work so hard on your rehab assignment down there at the minor leagues. You start getting some rhythm and timing back, and the last thing in the world you want to do is take 3 days off. So I would venture a guess either here at Chase Field or at Salt River Fields, Mark Trumbo was pounding some baseballs over the break.
It's that one down the line at third, right to Valbuena, who throws it out. What a win.
Hey fans, when the D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. The day after every Diamondbacks win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code D-backs50 at papajohns.com. That's tough over the break. I had to pay full price.
Ha. And they're going to take a look now at Edwin Jackson. Something's amiss at the mound. Well, no, it's Valbuena.
That ball got on him quickly down there at third base. That topspin grounder off the bat of Trumbo looked like he got the bare hand in the glove just a little bit too soon. Had time to shake it out a little before he fired across the diamond for the out, and the Cubs medical staff taking a look. This ball actually caught him. It hit really hard, knocked him back on his heels as he made that play, and obviously got that bare hand involved in the glove a little too soon.
It's a pretty hard hit ball off the bat of Mark Trumbo. Well, we have a moment. Let's congratulate the Hudsons. Daniel Hudson.
Yeah.
Now a dad, a little Baylor, born yesterday, right in the early morning hours. 7 pounds 4 ounces, baby girl.
Best all-star break ever for the Hudsons. Congratulations.
First time that's been good news at the hospital for Daniel Hudson over the last couple of years. Bueno looks like he's going to continue here.
Just speculating here, but occasionally when you have a little nick like that, the ball catches you on the tip of the finger or separates the nail just a little bit, it's not uncommon for a trainer to shoot a little super glue in there just to seal it up for the rest of the ball game, stop the bleeding, allow Valbuena to continue here.
Literally super glue?
Super glue.
The actual stuff.
The actual stuff.
So they glued his fingernail back on. Martin Prado. The baseball version of Cut Me Mick.
I have to go for a manicure tomorrow.
The problem is when he goes to throw the ball, will it stick in his hand?
Well, that's why he was blowing on his finger to make sure the glue dried. Yeah, that would be a mess.
He's got hands like glue down there at third.
Oh.
1-1 to Prado. Roll the shortstop. Starlin Castro throws him out. 2 down. Here's Gerardo Parra.
Right fielder, number 8, Gerardo Parra.
Parra hit .253 during the first half of the year, but was really grinding down the final month before the All-Star break. You go back to June the 5th, he was at .281 on the year. But over the last 31 games going into the break, he hit just over .190 with only 4 extra base hits and 3 RBIs. So they're looking for Parra's bat to come alive here to start the second half. And Parra admitted last weekend he has not been feeling good at home plate, but he's not frustrated. Feels like the second half of the year will be great. And maybe after 1 or 2 base hits, he'll feel better. Jackson covers. 3-1 on the putout. A 1-2-3 second for Edwin Jackson. No score at Chase Field. Cubs. No score as we start the third. Tony La Russa, Diamondbacks chief baseball officer, told Steve Gilbert at MLB.com not too long ago he's got a lot of friends in baseball who will agree with his idea that the 2013 D-backs have earned a ton of points because of the last 2 months. They have not packed it in. After the very difficult start, they have scrapped, and he's seen some toughness and competitiveness from this ball club that he likes. And Tony La Russa will be part of Fox Sports 1's Road to Cooperstown show tomorrow as he gets inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Ryan Sweeney in the air to right. Gerardo Parra has one. Well, 66 games to go for the Diamondbacks. Wellington Castillo steps in now. D-backs beginning the second half. Got the trade deadline looming. You've got a new chief baseball officer continuing his evaluation. And a team that will be very interesting to watch over the second half of this year. A lot of storylines to attend to. Some veterans looking for bounce back second halves. Some youngsters fighting to prove they belong at this level going forward. A chance to figure out who you are going to be now and perhaps more importantly next year.
And something you hope you never really have to face as a player or a manager or a coach. A team that really struggled in the first half of the season and needs some kind of a miracle to have any kind of fun in the second half of the year. But that being said, Gibby's accountable for the wins that the team accumulates in the second half. Each one of these players is playing for a spot on this roster or somebody's roster next year. So there will be no cashing it in. These guys are going to play hard right down to the wire.
And Derek Hall, president and CEO, said not too long ago the D-backs will be making more moves at the trade deadline, which is less than 2 weeks away now. But he was quick to point out that this organization is not looking at a 2 or 3 year rebuild here as Castillo strikes out. But now, however, is an opportunity to look at some young guys like David Peralta, Evan Marshall, Ender Inciarte. Evaluate what's here and work from a position of depth at certain spots. You can address needs for the next year or two. And starting pitching is obviously a need. It's an area where the D-backs have to get better, and Trevor Cahill can be a big part of that equation.
And ideally, that's where you get your pitching, is from within, whether it's a guy that's on the roster right now, somebody that's in your organization at the minor league level. Every team in baseball is looking for pitching help. And it becomes very, very costly when you're competing against 29 other teams to get the very select few free agent pitchers that might fit your organization.
Well, Kevin Towers was asked about trade deadline possibilities and said the Diamondbacks are more driven by trying to make good baseball trades, and that he doesn't think the Diamondbacks are just looking to dump money and get nothing back in return. Up the middle, Didi Gregorius can't quite get there, and Edwin Jackson has a 2-out single. First hit for the Cubs against Trevor Cahill. Cahill was quickly ahead 0-2, but he loses the pitcher.
18 strikeouts in his 32 previous at-bats for Edwin Jackson, but gets just enough of that one to ground it back up the middle of the field for the first hit of the ball game for the Cubs.
And a 2-out base runner for Chris Coughlin, who popped up his first time. Well hit, left center field. Peralta tracks it down in the gap. David Peralta playing center field tonight. Cahill strands the 2-out single and keeps it scoreless. and Diamondbacks. FoxSportsArizona.com. And at the local online sports coverage you won't find anywhere else, there is Jack McGruder, diligently working on his game story. He's got a great piece on the website right now about the farm system. You can read about guys like Shipley and Blair and Sherfy and some of these other guys doing so well in the Diamondbacks minor league system. Brittany Griner emerges as one of the WNBA's brightest stars. She's an all-star. That game is right here in Phoenix tomorrow. And post-game analysis and clubhouse reaction after the ball game tonight. All that and more. FoxSportsArizona.com. Went to the Mercury game last night. They beat up on the Connecticut Sun, and that is the best team in the league. They are a good show. Diana Taurasi, Brittany Griner. It's fun when you see one team that you know is just flat out way better than anyone else in the league. It's fun to watch, and the Mercury really put on a good show. Didi Gregorius leads off the third against Edwin Jackson. 18th start of the year at shortstop for Didi at .229 and 2 homers. Diamondbacks had hoped to have Chris Owings back by now, but Owings' left shoulder strain has been a lot slower to heal than they initially expected or hoped. And CO right now only able to swing a bat. He has not taken any live batting practice. The shoulder is still sore. And his return, they say, may still be at least a couple of weeks away. He is seeing the doctor again tonight, trying to figure out what's going on there. 2-1.
And one of the hardest things for a young player like Chris Owings, who was having such a great season, is to make sure that they take their time and get it right before trying to come back. The worst thing that could happen is to rush it, come back too soon, and then suffer some kind of a serious injury that's going to lay him up for the rest of the year.
And it's not like they don't have depth there. You've certainly got Didi and Nick Ahmed. There's Nick. 3 balls and a strike to Gregorius. Right at the second baseman. Alcantara throws him out, but away. Well, it's time, fans, to tweet your photo. Use the hashtag AZFanPhoto for your chance to have it shown in our game broadcasts. Brought to you by AT&T. Gonzo and I did the best we could while you were on your extended leave.
How'd that go?
Not well.
Not well?
Yeah, we screwed it up.
Bringing in a pinch hitter tonight. Andy Stankiewicz is going to help us out with the AT&T fan photo tonight.
Friendly committee back in session. Here's Trevor Cahill. I would give us a C+. I think we basically went 1 for 3. I would say.
So that's a huge improvement.
Technically, I suppose you're right there. Yeah. See, Gonzo looking at photos right now. Nobody's had the heart to tell him that he was kicked off the committee. It's a delicate situation. There's Andy Stankiewicz. He was on the pregame show with Cindy Brunson. He'll be on Diamondback Live postgame as well. He's got the whole family here.
Yeah, son, a good ball player over at Gilbert High School. Daughter's a softball player. It runs in the genes.
2-1 to Cahill. To Castro. 2 down. Coach Payton, Coach Carruthers up there at the D-backs Baseball Academy. Don't forget, fans, last week of week-long summer camps, and you still have time to register for the D-backs Baseball Academy. Just go to dbacks.com/academy. And we have 3 locations, including a night camp under the lights at Salt River Fields. How about that? That's big news.
That is big news.
So don't forget, last week of the week-long summer camps, dbacks.com/academy. And we'll see you out there. Strike one to Aaron Hill. Struck out his first time. I gotta say, BB, so far Edwin Jackson has looked pretty good.
A little shaky in that first inning, was spraying it all over the place, fell behind Aaron Hill 3-0 to start the ball game, but came back to strike out Aaron and then seemingly has settled in, hitting the strike zone a little more consistently, getting that breaking ball around the edges of the zone.
I mean, he's never going to be tremendously efficient. 39 pitches, 23 for strikes, but he's hanging in there. He's retired the last 7 he's faced. This is a guy that represents a 4-year, $52 million investment for the Cubs. He strikes out Aaron Hill for the second time tonight. 3 strikeouts now for Jackson. No score through 3. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. All-Star Anthony Rizzo. We'll see him in the 4th. Sports 1. First, it's the Dodgers and the Cardinals, followed by the Indians and the Tigers. Coverage begins at 12:30 on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. And then, of course, the Diamondbacks and the Cubs on Fox Sports Arizona. Arizmendi Alcantara, who swung at the first pitch his first time up, leads off the 4th for the Cubs, and this is a part of the future here. One of the young prospects about which they are tremendously excited in Chicago. Arizmendi Alcantara. 9 hits and 24 at bats to begin his big league career. He takes a strike 0-1. 9 hits, 5 of those for extra bases. He's got some pop. The question is, where does he fit in the grand scheme of things? And playing second base tonight. They've tried him in the outfield as well. Alcantara was hitting .307 at AAA Iowa when he was called up to the big leagues. Made his debut just about 2 weeks ago, July 9th. He went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts at Cincinnati. And then in his second big league game went 4 for 5, a double, a triple, 3 RBIs. Go get him, kid. And in the final game before the break, Sunday at Wrigley Field against Atlanta, hit his first career home run. 3-2.
As we have a tendency to do in this game, you kind of look at a guy and compare him to somebody who has gone before, and you talk to Cubs people, and Alcantara is compared very favorably with Jose Reyes. A combination of power and speed, good defense, strong arm.
Yeah, this is a very fast runner, and now he's got a leadoff walk. Part of the bright future for the Cubs, all these young prospects. Chris Bryant is going to be an absolute monster at the major leagues. They just acquired Addison Russell from the A's in the Samardzija Hamel deal, and they have a whole lot of other guys who are in the top 100 on Baseball America's prospect list.
And you got the two old guys, Rizzo and Castro, both at 24.
So Trevor Cahill issued a walk to Castro to lead off the second. He walks Alcantara to lead off the fourth. Keep in mind, very good speed at first. Here's Rizzo. Now Cahill having issues finding the strike zone. Rizzo grounded out his first time. Rizzo has hit safely in 3 straight. He's homered 3 times in his last 8 games. Swing and a miss, 1-1.
Alcantara down there at first base, 56 stolen bases in his last 2 minor league seasons, caught only 10 times. Only 1 attempt so far here at the big league level. He was successful.
There goes Alcantara. Montero's throw is high. And Arizmendi Alcantara has his 2nd stolen base of the major leagues. Especially with that number 7, he does look like Jose Reyes out there.
Physical build, good speed, got a great jump over there at first base. Tough pitch for Miguel to handle, reaching way down and in on that pitch to Rizzo. And even with a good throw, I don't think they get the speedy Cub at second base that time.
A lot of prospects get attention in this system. Guys like Bryant and Almora, Baez, Soler, but Alcantara's name kind of gets lost in that mix. But they have been thrilled with his progress. 2-1 to Rizzo. Very well hit, high and deep and way gone. Anthony Rizzo, his 21st, 2-0 Cubs. His 4th home run in the last 9 games.
That's where the leadoff walk really hurts. Anthony Rizzo's a really good hitter. This is a young man that's going to be atop the leaderboards in the National League for a long time to come. You just don't want to put anybody on base ahead of him. And double the damage here. What would have been a solo homer turns into a 2-run bomb because of the leadoff walk.
And they are all in on Anthony Rizzo in Chicago. They made a big investment, 7 years, $41 million, and all these young kids coming up. He is going to be the established veteran and the leader on this ball club going forward. He and Starlin Castro. He's down 0-1. Castro walked his first time.
If Theo Epstein and Jed Hoyer end up leaving the Cubs for any reason, you can safely bet that they're going to make a trade for Anthony Rizzo. They drafted him as a member of the Red Sox. They traded for him when Jed Hoyer was the general manager down in San Diego, and when they both went to the Cubs together, one of the first deals they pulled was to get Anthony Rizzo on board with the Cubs.
They love the makeup. There's the talent, that's obvious. 6'3", 240, a big left-hand power hitter. But they have loved the makeup for years. Castro can't hold up. In fact, this is a guy they believe in. There was a confrontation between the Cubs and the Reds in Cincinnati right before the All-Star break, where Rizzo got up and got into Aroldis Chapman's face, jumping up onto the dugout steps to shout at Chapman, who had buzzed Nate Scherholz a couple of times. And that was a real leadership moment they felt for Rizzo. Out on the top step and out front defending his ball club. Castro chases that one in the dirt and strikes out. 3rd strikeout for Cahill.
Good change up again by Trevor Cahill. That's been his best secondary pitch so far in this ball game, and with this very aggressive young swinging Cubs team, that's a pitch that should be very effective. Talking about Rizzo, you go back to last year's All-Star game, 163 games, so basically a full season. He's third in the National League in home runs behind only Giancarlo Stanton. Actually, he's tied for second now with Paul Goldschmidt, 31 home runs over the last 163 games.
21 of those this year. Luis Valbuena, 1-0. The finger appears to be okay. This is well hit to right center field. Peralta near the pool, and he won't get there. It's off the wall. Valbuena will stop at second. His 23rd double. And the 100th of his career. Peralta can't get there.
Talk about a seat holder. Luis Valbuena just filling the position until one of their young studs makes the final step up the ladder to play at the major league level. But they like him over there at third base. Solid defender. Has some pop in that bat from the left side of the plate. Chases this one all the way to the gap in right center field for a double. And he takes a walk, which is another thing that's very important in the Theo Epstein book of baseball.
Yeah, he's moved everywhere up and down the lineup, hit just about everywhere. Mike Harkey out there now to talk to Trevor Cahill, who's had a rough fourth inning. He walked Alcantara to lead off the inning. Then a long two-run homer by Rizzo. We got Castro to strike out. Now the double by Valbuena.
Yeah, really, the Rizzo homer and the Valbuena double, the only two hard hit balls in this game up to this point. A lot of soft contact is what you're looking for from Trevor Cahill.
51 pitches, 30 for strikes. Ruggiano struck out his first time up. Top tier player of the game brought to you by Arco. Highest batting averages in the National League in the month of July. Two Cubs right at the top of the list ahead of Goldie. Chris Coughlin and this guy, Justin Ruggiano, the former Marlin. Last dozen games before the All-Star break, he was hitting over 400. Off the fifth, slow roller to short. Here comes Didi. Great play by Didi Gregorius. Two down. Valbuena moves to third.
Nicely done by Didi, running full speed straight in. Not always easy to find the handle on that ball when you know you have to unload it quickly. At that particular time, Didi finds the seams and fires across in time for the out. You can see Valbuena running right in front of him there. Might have been a little bit of a distraction, but Didi gets the out at first.
Ryan Sweeney flying out his first time. Sweeney, a big dude in there, 6'4", 225 from the left-hand side. He's had a hard time staying healthy since he's been with the Cubs. Hitting just .216 on the year. Sweeney missed 37 games earlier this year with a hamstring injury. That was back on May 2nd. Didn't get back into the middle of June. 2-0 Cubs on the Rizzo homer, is 21st. Valbuena the runner at third, 2 outs.
Two extra base hits in this inning for the Cubs. The Diamondbacks had a double of their own off the bat of David Peralta back in the first. So the Diamondbacks and the Cubs are in a flat-footed tie for fourth place in the National League in extra base hits, each sitting at 270.
A rocket into right, 3-0 Cubs. Third hard hit ball in this inning against Trevor Cahill.
Catcher, Castillo.
Sinker that starts on the inside part of the plate, strays right back over the middle of the plate, and unfortunately up enough that Sweeney can get the barrel on it and drive in a run with that single into right field.
I was going to say that looked just like the pitch that Rizzo hit out for his home run. Wellington Castillo, the catcher, the strikeout victim his first time. Castillo is 10th season in the Cubs organization and is 5th with the major league team. He has come up a Cub. Trevor Cahill trying to get out of this fourth. Kirk Gibson says the D-backs really need Trevor Cahill. The staff needs him. And he has the ability. He's shown that in the past. They just need to get him on track. Two and one. That's a fair ball. And that's the inning. But the Cubs get 3-2 on the Rizzo homer, another on the Sweeney single. It's 3-0 Cubs. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Coming up for the Diamondbacks, we'll see Goldie in the fourth. Jackson, the author of a no-hitter during his brief time with the Diamondbacks in 2010 at Tampa Bay, June 25th of that year. It was hardly a work of art. He walked 8 in that no-no and hit a batter. Needed 149 pitches, 149 to complete that game. Not an artistic success, but it worked out.
Yeah, 7 of the 8 walks and the wild pitch came in the first 3 innings of the game when he stranded 7 runners on base. His manager, A.J. Hinch, had the bullpen warming up in the 6th inning.
No hitter.
But as the game progressed, they said they stopped counting pitches at 115. Figured they're going to let him either get the thing or give it up on his own. 149 pitches to complete that no-no.
Just 79 for strikes. And it worked to David Peralta to lead off the fourth. Jackson has retired the last 8 he's faced tonight. He's given up just 1 hit. And now leads at 3-0. The hit was by David Peralta. A double down the left field line back in the first. Funny thing about Edwin Jackson was following that no-hitter, he made just 5 more starts for Arizona, lost 4 of them, and then was dealt at the deadline to the White Sox for Daniel Hudson and David Holmberg. Peralta has another multi-hit game. David Peralta has played 37 games for the D-backs this year. 16 of those, almost half, have been multiple hit games.
First one, a little floater that found grass out in left field. This one, a rocket right back up the middle of the field. That's what we're used to seeing from David. You can see shortstop Starlin Castro shading up the middle of the field. He barely moved on that line drive.
Well, it's not like they can't get quickly right back into it against Edwin Jackson. Here's Goldie. Goldie having a big month of July, a .395 average in 12 games this month with 10 extra base hits. He grounded out his first time on a check swing.
Wise to keep an empty seat between those two.
Right. Keep your distance. Roll to third. Valbuena, Alcantara, and Rizzo scoops it. They turn two. Mention that Edwin Jackson no-hitter. Miguel Montero was the catcher that night in Tampa Bay. Here he is.
It was weird. It was definitely a weird experience. I mean, I didn't even know he was throwing a no-hitter because he had bases loaded like the first 3 innings. And end of the game, we really, it was a no-hitter. It was crazy.
Well, he's right.
Yeah.
Montero, a strikeout victim his first time up against his former battery mate. And the Cubs put the defensive overshift on for Miguel Montero. The defensive alignment on the right-hand side.
A pull shift on the infield, but the center fielder Justin Ruggiano shading a few steps over toward the gap in left center field.
A place where Miggy has been very effective this year. That's a major league spike right there.
Wellington Castillo has to feel like a goalie back there sometimes catching Edwin Jackson. I mean, that ball hits a good 6-7 feet out in front of home plate. Just shakes his head, gets a new ball. Let's try it again.
One and one. Goes the other way, but it's foul behind the D-backs dugout. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Edwin Jackson needs to throw a lot of pitches. Number 50 is coming up. So far, 29 strikes, 20 balls. He has not been going very deep into ball games. In fact, he has lasted fewer than 6 innings 7 times in his last 10 starts. One and two. If you catch this guy, you must know you're going to get dirty.
Oh. Go home with a bunch of merit badges. That's what catchers call the bruises they get from blocking balls in the dirt. Yeah, especially that breaking pitch, in a 2-strike count, you anticipate that there's a real good chance that one's going to end up in the dirt. And that time Wellington Castillo just smothered it in front, just in case Miggy happens to chase that pitch in the dirt.
On and round right side, and that's the inning. We are through 4. Diamondbacks trail the Cubs 3-0 in downtown Phoenix. back with you. D-backs trail the Cubs 3-0. Our Chevron upcoming matchup. Diamondback Live pregame show tomorrow at 4:30 on Fox Sports Arizona. Matchup of two pretty good lefties. Travis Wood for the Cubs and Wade Miley for the Diamondbacks.
Don't want to be late for that one. Two guys that like to work quickly and throw strikes. Couple of lefties that just pound away at that strike zone.
Don't forget, first 20,000 fans at the ball game tomorrow get the Paul Goldschmidt All-Star T-shirt. So if you haven't got your tickets, there's still time. dbacks.com/tickets. And get here early. Get your Goldie T-shirt. Diamondbacks want to thank their fans for the tremendous voting push to get Goldie in there as the starter. It all worked out really well. Diamondback fans did a terrific job. So the first 20,000 here tomorrow get a free Goldie All-Star T-shirt. He is, after all, America's first baseman. Edwin Jackson leads off the fifth against Trevor Cahill. That's out of play on one.
Boy, Trevor could use a big bounce back inning here. And by bounce back, I mean few pitches. He only threw 34 pitches through the first 3 innings of this game, but had to throw 27 in that last inning for a total of 61 going into the top of the fifth.
Well, what has been the big issue for Trevor Cahill? Kurt Gibson says he thinks a lot of the time Trevor just tries to make the ball move too much when he gets ahead in the count or gets in favorable situations. Roll to second. Aaron Hill is there, and that's the first out here of the fifth.
Hey fans, MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit dbacks.com for details.
Kirk Gibson saying that's one of the things that Trevor Cahill went to the minor leagues to work on. They like to see him not try to outthink these guys, not try to over-maneuver the ball or get too fancy. Keep the secondary pitches, just that, secondary, and let that big, heavy sinker do its thing. Strike one to Chris Coughlin, who's 0 for 2. Coughlin has hit in 4 straight games and 13 of his last 14, a .420 average over that stretch. Coughlin didn't play a whole lot for the Cubs when he first came up after opening the year in AAA Iowa. It's this one very high and very deep to center, but playable for Peralta. Coughlin 0 for 3, 2 down. But since Emilio Bonifacio has been on the DL about the last month or so, Coughlin has been more or less in there every day, and he's done well.
And so far, we're getting that bounce back inning from Trevor Cahill. 2 outs on only 5 pitches here in the top half of the inning.
Keep that momentum going. Arizmendi Alcantara walked his last time up to lead off the 4th, stole second, came in on the Rizzo homer. Well, hit to right, but right at Parham. A 1-pitch out right there and a quick inning. 6 pitches, in fact, for Trevor Cahill. Just what the doctor ordered. D-backs need some offense next. They trail at 3-0. Slugger Mark Trumbo set to lead it off against Edwin Jackson. Let's check in on Archie Bradley, one of the top pitching prospects in the organization. And since he was shut down with that elbow trouble, he has looked very good for Double-A Mobile. 1-0 in his last 4 starts. The ERA under 1.5.
Also, congratulations in order for Missoula first baseman Trevor Mitsui. Hit for the cycle in a 12-9 win over Grand Junction yesterday.
He was just drafted last month.
Hey, cycle's a cycle. I don't care what level it is.
Well, that's a good start for a recent D-back draftee. 0-1 to Trumbo, who grounded out his first time. Kirk Gibson saying Mark Trumbo looked a little bit rusty in San Francisco just before the break, but thinks that Trumbo is moving good. And that's the key, of course, with that foot injury. Moving good, his arm is good, moved around real well in the outfield in San Fran. And given the nature of that foot injury, that's just about the best thing you could hope to see. I guess timing at the plate is different for everybody. This one might hit the roof. A for effort for Chris Coughlin.
Wow, that ball had some serious hang time.
That looked like a punt.
Good thing for Mark Trumbo, and granted it's a very small sample size since coming back off the disabled list, but it looks like he's swinging at strikes and laying off the borderline pitches. Then in my humble opinion, that's usually the last thing to come back when a guy has spent any amount of time on the disabled list. That knowledge of your own strike zone. What can I hit? What should I take?
Lays off a close one there.
You take so much batting practice in the cage. You do your tee work, you do your soft toss work, you hit batting practice, and of course everything's a strike then. But you get out there in the game and all of a sudden the guy's throwing 95 and he's throwing breaking pitches, and occasionally you can expand your own strike zone to the point where you're getting yourself out.
2-2. That's out of play as well. Gibby thinks the swing, the timing will come back for Mark Trumbo, and once those cobwebs are shaken off, he expects that Mark is going to have a good second half. No reason not to. It's going to be fun to watch. I kind of feel like we got gypped. I mean, it's so looking forward to seeing Mark in the lineup every day with Goldie as that, you know, kind of Batman and Robin power duo. And we only got 3 weeks worth. So it's good to have him back. This is foul near the Cub dugout. Rizzo runs out of room.
We feel gypped because we haven't had a chance to see Mark Trumbo swing the bat and hit tape measure homers. How do you think Gibby feels? Take an important cog out of your lineup like that. I mean, just his mere presence in the lineup changes the way opposing teams will pitch to the guys in front of him and the guys behind him in the order.
Comes to short. Castro behind the back. So they identified a need after last year. That was they needed somebody to hit some doubles and some homers. You go out and make the move, and then 3 weeks in, you're suddenly right back to where you started.
Third baseman, Martin Prado.
So Trumbo 0 for 2 in his first home game back from the injury. Here's Prado. And Martin is a guy looking to drive the ball a little more. Grounded out his first at bat. Prado last 19 games, 2 extra base hits and 4 RBIs. And when asked about the All-Star break, what time of opportunity it represented for him, Martin said, oh, 3 or 4 days away from the stadium is a time where, well, 1 or 2 of those days he might think about the game. The other 2 just chill, refresh. Kind of hit the reset button. And don't worry about all the stuff he went through this year. So Martin said he was all set to recharge the batteries. And we know what he did last August. You could not get him out. He was National League Player of the Month. This is in the seats and out of play. 1-2. Prado, in terms of the batting average, the on-base percentage, the slugging, the slash line numbers, actually ahead of his pace from the All-Star break last year. Edwin Jackson, a 3-0 lead. Anthony Rizzo, a 2-run homer in the fourth, an RBI single by Ryan Sweeney. Base hit for Prado. Third hit for the D-backs. They've got a 1-out base runner.
Inside out swing that Martin Prado is so known for. Waits on that breaking ball, lets it get deep into the hitting zone, and then just slashes it through that right side for a 1-out single.
And a chance for Gerardo Parra, who grounded out his first time. This is a guy, Bob, they just need to get going. It's been a tough month for G.
More so than any other player on this roster, this is a guy that could really benefit from the All-Star break. A few days away. He's been working so hard to try to find it. Extra batting practice every day, looking at video, trying to figure out what it is that's not working right now that was working earlier in the season. And sometimes the best thing you can do is just step away and forget about it for a couple of days, come back fresh and try to go from there.
Base hit for Parra. Down the right field line. Prado heads for third. Runners on the corners and 1 out for the Diamondbacks.
Trailing by 3 runs in the game, you have to give some serious thought to possibly pinch hitting for Trevor Cahill if you've got a chance to score some runs in this inning. As Gerardo Parra spanks one through that right side. Prado able to go first to third easily. Gregorius in the 8th spot in the lineup. It looked like Nick Evans has come out of the dugout to possibly pinch hit for Cahill should we get down there.
Does he hit for you regardless of what Didi does here, unless of course he hits into a double play?
I don't know. I think it depends on what happens in this at bat. You know, after that shaky 4th inning for Trevor, he settled in at a very quick 5th inning. Pitch count still well within reason, but you got to score some runs, and trailing by 3 right now, you might have to take your shot right here.
Eri De La Rosa, a left-hander, warms up in the Sanderson Ford bullpen. Rizzo would lead off the 6th for the Cubs. He's a left-hand hitter. There's a strike, 1-1. Right at the knees.
It's a rare 2-seamer from Edwin Jackson. Generally, he'll throw that 4-seam fastball in the mid to upper 90s, but occasionally when he's looking for that ground ball, he'll go to the 2-seamer. Try to get a guy to swing over the top of the baseball and hit a grounder.
Base hit into right. Prado scores. It's a 3-1 ball game. 3 straight D-back singles.
Hole in the right side of the infield's been kind to the Diamondbacks in this inning. All 3 hits coming to nearly the same location. Prado's a little bit closer to the second baseman, but Parra and Gregorius smacking it past Anthony Rizzo into right field.
And that is going to do it for Trevor Cahill's night. Nick Evans will take the AB. Nick 2 for 8 as a pinch hitter this year. So Cahill's night ends here.
I'm sure part of the thinking is, as I mentioned, a really quick 1-2-3 inning in that top half of the fifth. Get Trevor out of there on a positive note after that shaky fourth inning. He was able to settle back in and get 3 quick outs. So not only do you have a possibility of maybe tacking on some more runs here with a pinch hitter, but get Trevor Cahill out of the game on a positive note.
We saw Nick Evans 3 hits and 18 at bats this year, but every one has mattered. Nick had a home run at Coors Field the first week of June and had a pinch hit RBI double that provided a 9th inning run and a win in Atlanta, and then another pinch double to drive in a run at San Francisco last weekend. One and 0.
We talked about it before. When Nick Evans comes off the bench as a pinch hitter, he's had a knack for driving that ball to the gap in right center field. You watch him take batting practice on a daily basis. He works on it every day in batting practice. Drive that ball to the opposite field. If he's supposed to pull the pitch, he will naturally, but his original approach is always to drive the ball to the opposite field.
And Edwin Jackson can fall apart quickly on you. Keep in mind, no National League pitcher has given up more earned runs this year than Jackson. Gerardo Parra, the runner at second. Didi Gregorius at first. Just missed the radio booth there.
Well, that was not a swing designed to hit the ball to right center field. Worked the count in his favor, 2-0 against the guy that likes to throw his fastball when he's behind in the count. That time Nick Evans was looking to hit one up in the restaurant.
This is his 20th start this year. Jackson has given up 12 home runs. 2 balls and a strike.
Helped him that time. Looked like he chased a pitch up out of the zone. So tempting. You see that 4-seam fastball looks as big as a beach ball when it leaves the pitcher's hand, but you really have to be quick to get on top of that pitch.
2 balls, 2 strikes. That one will drop into left field for a base hit. They wave for Ronald Parra. He will score. Gregorius is in at third. Another big hit for Nick Evans, and it's a 1-run ball game. 4 straight singles from the bottom of the Diamondback order, and it's 3-2.
Second baseman, Aaron Hill.
That time by Nick Evans ultimately gets this base hit into left field on a pitch way off the plate inside. Fortunately for the Diamondbacks, he hit it so softly that Didi was able to turn the corner and end up at third base.
Singles by Prado, Parra, Gregorius, and Evans. 6, 7, 8, 9 in the order. All against Edwin Jackson have brought Chris Bosio out to the mound. And here comes the top of the order in a 1-run ball game. They're on the corners with only 1 out.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Didi Gregorius is the runner at third. Nick Evans at first. 2 runs in, still only 1 out. And here's Aaron Hill, who has so far struck out twice against Jackson. He's 0 for 2. Tying run 90 feet away. Go ahead run over there at first. And Aaron Hill with 45 RBIs, just 1 behind Chase Utley for the league lead among second basemen. Oh, and 1. Well, the line has been moving. Now it's moved up to the top of the order. What do you think about Aaron Hill in the leadoff spot? Just his 10th career start here.
Well, unless the idea of moving him up to the leadoff spot was to try to get him to be a little more patient, maybe draw a walk or two, particularly like him at the top of the order. Sometimes, however, when you sit down in your office and go through a starting lineup that day, somebody has to hit leadoff. And by default, sometimes it's a guy you don't expect.
Here comes Gregorius, and he is out at home. Castillo got a very friendly bounce off the backstop there. Kicked right back to him after it got behind him, and Gregorius is out at home.
Very fortunate bounce for the Cubs that time as Jackson pulls that one over in the left-handed batter's box. Michael Jackson, a very good athlete, got off the mound quickly, gets into good position. Nowhere for Didi to go that time.
2-1 on the putout. Jackson is lying in front of home plate with nowhere for Didi to go. Nick Evans moves up to second on the play. Now 2 outs and a 2-1 count to Aaron Hill. Very good numbers lately in this situation for Aaron. 15 RBIs. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 27th pitch of this long 5th inning coming up for Edwin Jackson. He did not go. Crew chief Jim Joyce says down at first, so it's full 3-2. Base hit ties the ball game. Short, right to Castro. Diamondbacks strand 1, but they get 2, and through 5, it's a 1-run ball game here at Chase Field. 4 straight singles by the bottom of the order, and the Diamondbacks are on the board. It's 3-2 as we head to the 6th.
For the 6th inning, you may remember at the top of the show we said a key for Trevor Cahill was his ability to throw strikes. We're going to show you a package of first pitch strikes here from Trevor Cahill, and this is what he needs to do. Just aim for the middle of the plate. Let the natural movement of the pitch do what it wants to do. Don't try to be too fine. Don't try to paint corners. Throw it down the middle of the plate with movement. If the Cub hitter wants to swing at it, he's probably going to put it in play on the ground. And in 8 cases tonight, they took it for a called strike 1. So huge improvement in that area for Trevor Cahill. Still room for more improvement, but a big step forward.
Yuri De La Rosa on for the 4th time this year for the Diamondbacks. So Trevor Cahill goes 5 innings. Gives up 3 runs on 4 hits. He walked 2 and struck out 3. He'll deal with Anthony Rizzo, who has the game's big hit so far. He did this his last time up.
Oh, look away. An absolute blast over the RamTrucks.com pool area out there.
His 21st homer of the year. Anthony Rizzo up there against a lefty. This is an area in which he needed to improve, and he has done so this year. Rizzo last year hit under 190 against left-hand pitching and was told he needed to get better against lefties this year. Well, he's had the chance and he's done so. He's hitting .300 versus lefties this year. That's no small sample size. 106 plate appearances. He's got 6 homers against lefties too. 1-1.
I think a big reason for that improvement against lefties is he's either looking for more breaking balls from left-handed pitches, or he's just not missing them as much this year. This is a perfect example. You go to the bullpen, you bring in a lefty to face Rizzo, and many times that left-handed reliever is going to throw a lot of breaking pitches. And last year Rizzo either took them for strikes or put them in play weakly. I think this year there are occasions where he goes to the plate and looks for that breaking ball from a left-handed pitcher.
Why would he see so many breaking balls from lefties?
They just do. That's just what left-handed relievers do against a left-handed hitter. They figure, I got to get my lefty out. How do you get him out? Well, you throw him a lot of breaking pitches like that.
That ball is crushed high and deep and gone. Anthony Rizzo, his 2nd home run tonight, his 22nd of the year, and it's a 4-2 Cubs lead. He has smashed 2 balls tonight. And now make it 7 homers this year against left-hand pitchers.
Waited back on that breaking ball, let it get onto that outside corner of the plate, and then gets full extension. Just an absolute blast out near the pregame set.
That is a long way. That's 420-ish out there. In fact, that's right where the D-backs have that home plate that measures 420 feet. His 6th career multi-home run game and a 2nd this year. Anthony Rizzo will turn 25 next month. An all-star for the first time this year, and we've seen why tonight. De La Rosa behind on Castro now, 2-0. 104 miles an hour off the bat. Castro tonight has walked and struck out 0 for 1. So the Cubs have their all-stars, Rizzo and Castro, hitting back-to-back, 3rd and 4th respectively. Straight up in the air, Miguel Montero, Paul Goldschmidt. Goldie calls off Miggy. That's the first out here in the 6th.
Nicely done there. Miguel Montero does what he's supposed to do as a catcher. You go after everything until you hear one of your corner infielders call you off. Miggy's in position to make the play. He hears Goldie call for it. A much easier play for Paul Goldschmidt coming in. He's got a little bit of an angle on that pop-up. Perfectly executed pop-up priority right there.
Luis Valbuena doubled and scored his last time. Came in on Ryan Sweeney's RBI single. 0-1.
3-0 swing that time by Castro on a pitch that appeared to be up out of the strike zone.
Well, that's kind of always been part of his makeup, hasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Not the most disciplined player ever. This is well hit the other way. Backs up Trumbull.
Hey fans, we invite you to play Kachinko by signing up at one of the 16 interactive kiosks right here at Chase Field during any Diamondbacks regular season home game.
Justin Ruggiano 0 for 2. Ruggiano missed a month earlier this year with a hamstring injury. Didn't get back until the end of May after missing 27 games. But since he's returned from the DL, he's hit about .310 in 40 games. So he's been a productive bat. Ruggiano has been raving about the hitting coaches under Rick Renteria. You've got Bill Miller. You've got Mike Brumley. Really, it seems like this whole staff has worked out very well for the personnel. It was a rough year under Dale Swain. Things didn't go well for some of the guys like Darwin Barney and Castro and Ruggiano, but they feel a lot better, they say, about this year's coaching staff. Misses there, and it's 3-1. Ruggiano says Miller, who's the hitting coach, is kind of the gel for all the hitters. A guy who's really smart, gives them the scouting reports. And Brumley is the workhorse. He's in the cages, he's in the video rooms. It's been a good combination. That ball is well hit to left field, but Trumbo is in front of the track. And that's the inning. But the Cubs add one on Anthony Rizzo's second home run tonight. And as we head to the home half of the sixth, the Diamondbacks trail it 4-2.
In part by Lone Butte Casino. You're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. And by Cox Communications. Bundle and save with Cox.
Beautiful Chase Field, downtown Phoenix. David Peralta leads off the sixth for the D-backs. They trail the Cubs 4-2. Anthony Rizzo, a pair of homers. for Chicago. Peralta, Goldschmidt, Montero 2, 3, and 4 against Edwin Jackson. So far, David Peralta has 2 of the Diamondbacks' 6 hits.
Soft double floating down into that left field corner, and then a smoke line drive back up the middle of the field is next at bat.
And Peralta, counting tonight, has played in 37 games this year. 16 of those have been multi-hit games. He's at .331. Among the tops among Major League rookies. Room for Valbuena, foul ground. They retire Peralta, 1 away. .37 now for Peralta, counting tonight. How about Billy Hamilton? He's been maybe a little bit more of an offensive player than people thought he could.
He's been a lot more of an offensive player than everybody thought. I mean, they knew once he got on base, he was a force to be reckoned with. The question was, would he get on base often enough?
Good to see, certainly for the Reds, as they try and figure out what to do while Brandon Phillips is injured. Peralta retired for the first time tonight. Here's Goldie, who's 0 for 2.
Speaking of Billy Hamilton, how about this? He's got 13 steals of third base already this season.
He's stolen just third 13 times.
13 times. No other team in the National League has more than 11. That's the Dodgers. They have 11. D. Gordon has 8 of those.
No other team.
No other team has more than 11.
That's amazing. He's pretty good, Billy Hamilton.
He's fast. He's really fast.
0-2 to Goldie. Let's try and see if we can tell exactly where that hit him.
Looks like I might have skimmed his left forearm and then hit the knob of the bat. Maybe just the knob.
Let's take a listen.
Those are ones you hope hit the knob of the bat, because if not, that's hand and wrist area, and that's never a good thing.
Don't forget, they are not ruling that a hit by pitch, and here comes Kirk Gibson. Hit batters are subject to review. Corey Blazer, the plate umpire. And he's up there with an 0-2 count. Well, he seems to be none the worse for wear. Two and two. Right field, and that ball is gone. A home run. Paul Goldschmidt, his 17th, and it's a 4-3 ball game.
See, it's been a while since Goldie's driven a ball out of the ballpark the opposite way. That pitch is actually on the inner third of the plate, about belt high. Just clears that front hip, gets the barrel on the ball, and rides it out of here to right field.
And that'll be the last pitch that Edwin Jackson throws tonight. Pitching change back after this. It's 4-3.
And Goldschmidt just hit another Chase Big Fly home run.
Roberts air conditioning pool play of the game first. The pitch from Edwin Jackson appeared to hit the knob of the bat, and then Goldie hit back.
You'll take a home run over a hit by pitch any day of the week. That ball looked like it hit the knob of Goldie's bat, maybe pinched the bottom of his hand just a little bit, but not enough to take away that opposite field power.
His 17th home run has made it a one-run ball game, and now on to face Miguel Montero as the left-hander James Russell. His 38th appearance of the year. Opponent hitting only 173 against him. Miggy 0 for 2. He has struck out and grounded out, and trying to bunt for a base hit with the shift on. He has shown on rare occasions this year, Bob, a knack for doing exactly what we just saw.
Well, it makes you wonder sometimes why more left-handed hitters don't take advantage of that, especially leading off an inning or when you're trailing by more than one run in the ball game. It doesn't even have to be a good bunt. That ball was bunted very hard to the left side of the infield, but because of where Valbuena was positioned, made it a very tough play to come over and backhand, try to get enough on the throw to get Miggy. Smart baseball right there.
And that's the only batter that Russell will face tonight, with a right hand hitting Mark Trumbo coming up back after this.
bottom of the 6th inning. Interesting exchange between Valbuena on the left and Miguel Montero. After Miggy squared the bunt and pulled it back on the ball, Valbuena made the gesture to Miggy as if to say, drop it down, we'll see, I'll get you out. And Miggy kind of made the exchange back like, well, I'll give it a shot. And obviously he laid it down and made it happen. It's been interesting to watch Valbuena throughout the game. He's been kind of talking to the D-backs dugout and making some gestures, but Miggy did a nice job right there and proved Valbuena wrong right there.
And he is the tying run at first for the new pitcher, Brian Schlitter. His second stint with the Cubs this year, a 2.98 ERA in what is now 44 appearances. Mark Trumbo. 0 for 2. He has grounded out twice. There's a strike on 1. I'm glad they didn't have Schlitter face Goldschmidt. That could have been a perfect storm.
I was just thinking the same thing.
We appreciate Rick Renteria's cooperation.
Yeah, the Cubs right-hander working against the Diamondbacks first baseman.
0-1 to Trumbo. Base hit. 9th hit for the D-backs. Can you imagine if Schlitter would throw a splitter to Goldschmidt?
Watch out.
That was a hanger.
Swing that time by Mark Trumbo, a guy that's not known for inside outing the ball to the opposite field. We got a pitch up and out over the plate. The Cubs were playing into pull just a little bit and took advantage of that weakness on the right side of the infield.
A chance for Martin Prado, who singled and scored in his last at bat, 1 for 2. Diamondbacks have out hit the Cubs 9-5, but they trail it 4-3. 1 out here in the 6th. You've got Montero at second and Trumbo at first. Martin Prado not thrilled with Corey Blazer's strike call there. 0-1.
He wasn't thrilled with the called strike in his last at bat. But that one ended up in a base hit. He later came around to score on the Didi Gregorius base hit, so hopefully this at bat will go the same way.
Justin Ruggiano in center field for the Cubs, shaded well over toward right, so there was an enormous gap in left center right now for Prado.
Schlitter, a guy that throws a lot of heavy sinkers in the mid to upper 90s. That ball working back into a right-handed hitter. Hang one on that inside part of the plate.
High chopper, tough play. Valbuena. Bases loaded. Not pretty, but effective. A base hit for Prado.
See Valbuena charging in from his third base position, calling off the pitcher. He had the best chance to make the play, but that ball hit right off of home plate. Trampolines high in the air to the third base side. Prado able to leg it out for an infield hit to load him up for Gerardo Parra.
Parra singled and scored his last time up, 1 for 2. Montero at third, Trumbo at second, and Prado at first. Ball 1 at 95. Paul Goldschmidt a home run. Singles by Montero. Trumbo and Prado have loaded the bases. Second time of the ball game. Second time in 2 innings. The Diamondbacks have strung together 4 straight hits. This is headed for left center field. Coughlin tracks it down. Here comes Miggy, and the game is tied. Cahill off the hook for the loss. It's 4-4.
Good signs offensively in this inning. Obviously, the opposite field home run by Goldie. The bunt base hit by Miguel Montero. Mark Trumbo went to the opposite field. A fortuitous bounce off of home plate by Martin Prado, and now an opposite field sac fly off the bat of Gerardo Parra. A lot of good stuff.
And for the third time in this inning, Rick Renteria heads out to the mound to change pitchers. He's got the left-hander Didi Gregorius coming up. And that's going to be it. Fourth Cubs pitcher of the night on the way in. It's tied up in the sixth. Game, and Rick Renteria has gone to the bullpen once again. He'll bring in left-hander Zach Roskup, who has been recalled for the fourth time this year from AAA Iowa. But Bob, why didn't he just bring him in to face Gerardo Parra?
I don't know. I have to scratch my head over that one, unless he felt Schlitter with that heavy sinker was better suited to get the ground ball double play they were looking for. But if you've got a lefty warmed up for Didi Gregorius, it makes you wonder why you wouldn't bring him in to face Gerardo Parra.
So here is Gregorius with Mark Trumbo at second and Martin Prado at first. 2 runs in the inning. It's 4-4. 2 on, 2 out. He did not go. Doug Eddings down at third. Evan Marshall throwing for the Diamondbacks in the Sanderson Ford bullpen. There's a strike, 1-1. Cody Ross in the on-deck circle. Pitcher spot is due up next. Didi ahead now, 2-1. He had an RBI single his last time up. He's 1 for 2. Trumbo at second, Prado at first. It's full 3-2. So now both runners can take off with the pitch, which means a lot for Martin Prado down there at first. Anything in the gap or down the line might score 2. There go the runners. That pitch is fouled away. Bob, so many times last year with Didi, especially against left-handers, you'd see at bats where he frankly just looked overmatched. But we don't see that anymore this year.
I think it's because of his change in approach this year, hitting out of that more athletic crouch. Has his hands in a much better position this year. I just think everything is slowed down for Didi because of that approach. Last year he was a lot more upright in the batter's box. His hands were different. He just seemed like he was having to start early to get to every pitch. Now he can wait a little bit longer.
There go the runners. That is base hit in the left. Sherlock will wave Trumbo on that newly healed foot, and he is safe. Didi Gregorius, 5-4 D-backs. And that left foot is just fine, thanks.
The determining factor in whether you send a guy or not is the outfielder charging the ball straight in, or is he moving to his right or his left? This time Coughlin was moving just a little bit to his left, had to close that front shoulder, turn all the way around to fire that ball to home plate. And Trumbo able to get in way ahead of that throw to the plate. Nice job.
And Gregorius and Parra able to move up to second and third respectively. A single and an RBI for Didi, his second RBI hit tonight. And now here's Cody Ross to hit for the pitcher.
I mean, occasionally it'll actually say that on the advance report when they grade the outfielder's arms. If he's coming straight in, he's got a 70 arm. If he has to move to his left, it drops down to a 60 arm. If he moves to his right, maybe it drops down to a 50. Depending on where the ball is hit and what kind of adjustment the outfielder has to make before he unloads that throw.
Scouts grade on that 20-80 scale, 80 being the highest. 1-0 to Ross. Cody, a home run against the Giants on Sunday, his first since May 18th, a stretch of 40 games. And a homer at AT&T Park put him over 500 career RBIs. He's done a good job as a pinch hitter this year. Cody in this spot, 8 for 21. That's a .381 average. He's got Prado at third, Gregorius at second. Two and one. Diamondbacks have now out-hit the Cubs 11-5 and lead at 5-4. Now Wellington Castillo wants to talk it over. Three runs in on 5 hits in this inning. Goldie, a one-out home run, his 17th of the year. And singles by Montero, Trumbo, and Prado. Parra drove in a run with a sacrifice fly. And the RBI single by Gregorius to make it 5-4. Three balls and a strike. Popped up first base side, foul ground, Rizzo. And the Diamondbacks strand 2, but they get 3 and take a 5-4 lead. It started with Paul Goldschmidt. The last pitch that Edwin Jackson threw tonight. Goldie's 17th home run, and the Diamondbacks have the lead. And 3 in the 6th have taken a 5-4 lead over the Cubs as we start the 7th here. And beautiful Chase Field. A reminder, fans, Papa John's, Pepsi, and the D-backs are teaming up to expand access to sports and inspire Arizona's kids to play ball. Order the Big League Combo with a 2-liter of Pepsi, and Papa John's will donate $1 to the Arizona Diamondbacks Foundation's Play Ball Fund, which supports youth sports across Arizona. Evan Marshall, the rookie right-hander, on for the 7th. Diamondbacks now have the 5-4 lead, so they're all set for Kirk Gibson's favorite bullpen plan, which is Marshall in the 7th, Ziegler in the 8th, and Reed in the 9th.
It's worked pretty good when he's had the opportunity to get to this situation, a lead in the 7th inning.
And work to Ryan Sweeney to lead it off. Sweeney, Castillo in the pitcher spot, bottom third of the Cubs order. Sweeney, an RBI single his last time up. He's 1 for 2. Dropped to second, Aaron Hill. 2 pitches, 1 out for Marshall.
You know, I always preface this with the manager knows his team a lot better than we do, but it kind of makes you scratch your head some of the moves that Rick Renteria made in that last inning with a 9-man bullpen at his disposal tonight. 3 lefties and 6 right-handed pitchers available. He let Gerardo Parra face the right-hander before going to the lefty out of the bullpen. Then he left the lefty in to face Cody Ross, the pinch hitter. Just some things that make you go, Everybody coming off an all-star break. Everybody should be rested and ready to go.
Strike 1 to Castillo. Well, he used 4 pitchers, I should say, in that inning. If you count starter Edwin Jackson, it was not like he was afraid to go to the bullpen. It's just a matter of the right guy in the right spot. Didn't seem to work out. That's a foul ball. Pitcher spot is due up next for the Cubs. And Nate Scherholz is on deck. A guy that has struggled offensively all year. And is always a guy whose name is thrown around about this time of year at the trade deadline. Marshall ahead 0-2. Two down. Fans, if you or someone you know would love to be part of our broadcast, well, they have to be between the ages of 10 and 14. Come out Sunday, Chase Field. Fox Sports Arizona, Sanderson Ford Kidcaster auditions. That's the Sandlot between 11:30 and 1:30. And we'll see you up here. 2 down in the 7th. Nate Scherholz will hit for the pitcher. Scherholz 2 for his last 20 at the plate. He has just not hit this year. Even though he's playing virtually every day, he started 70 games this year. He's got only 6 hits in July. Call him Nate the Great, and there's a reason. He has a knack. Just seems to be, Bob, one of those guys that has a knack for getting the big hit. He's done well in this role. And Jake Arrieta, the Cubs pitcher, was talking about the way the Cubs see Nate Scherholz, even with his down year offensively. And Arrieta said, yeah, he scuffled, but each time he steps in the box, his teammates feel like Scherholz is going to come through. And he's down 1-2. Evan Marshall a strike away from a 1-2-3-7. Two and two. Scherholz signed a free agent deal with the Cubs last year and really did well. Had a career high 21 home runs, so he's back this year, at least for the moment.
It's going to drive me crazy now.
What do you got?
You know, when you were a kid, they had this little toy that had, you know, plastic covering on it and a picture of a man's face, and you used to take a magnet and drag the metal filings up and.
Oh yeah, you'd make like a beard or a mustache.
Put hair, a mustache, or whatever on the character. Scherholz reminds me of that thing. He's got no hair on top, but he's got a full beard and mustache.
Aaron Hill. 2 ground balls and a strikeout for Evan Marshall. Stretch time. Special guest Andy Stankiewicz is in the booth when we come back. 5-4, bottom 7th, and is with us in the booth right now Andy Stankiewicz, who's done a tremendous job so far. I heard rave reviews about the pregame show.
Oh, well, thank you. I just I'm following. I got a veteran down there lead the way. I just followed her lead.
She knows what she's doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
What did you think about? Let's start with Trevor Cahill tonight.
I thought he pitched well. I mean, he got in trouble in the fourth. But Bob, I heard you speaking. He's got such great movement on his ball. It's got great sink. It's sometimes just throw it right down the middle of the plate and let it do its deal. And I think Bob's exactly right. He just actually had a great 4 innings, and that one inning got away from him a little bit. Left the ball up to Rizzo, and Rizzo's an all-star, and he made him pay. But I thought he pitched well. He just got to eliminate that 1 inning, and the Diamondbacks are looking really good.
New pitcher for the Cubs, their 5th pitcher tonight. This is right-hander Neil Ramirez, who's put up some very impressive numbers in 30 appearances, a 1.05 ERA, 34 strikeouts in less than 26 innings.
Well, the opponent to a 157 batting average. There's a big feeling around this Cubs team that this is the closer of the future, maybe the very, very near future.
Aaron Hill leads off the 7th. Aaron 0 for 3 so far. Andy, how are things going for you? What have you been up to? I know you're busy at GCU.
Yeah, we're busy. I'm working. The summer is recruiting season. It goes pretty heavy. We've been, myself and our assistant coaches have been traveling back and forth from California. Just a lot of showcase events in here as well. They have a lot of showcases here in town. So we're bouncing around, just hustling, trying to locate players.
What is Grand Canyon's, the program, the baseball program, what's its reputation now? How has it grown over the years in this area?
Well, it's historically, it's always been a great program.
Right.
You look at Tim Salmon, you look at all the big leaguers that have come out of Grand Canyon years ago, and I think that we're in that rebuilding phase. I think that what we've done in 3 years is kind of, I think, rekindle that fire a little bit, and we're starting to get more local players, especially kind of excited about Grand Canyon again. It's an option in the state of Arizona that I think that they're getting excited about, and that's what we want to do.
How did the move to D1 affect you, if at all?
Well, it's just it's like going from AAA to the big leagues in some respects, where the players just get better. The players get more physical. The speed of the game it increases, and so I think it's been the difference, is trying to find a roster that has more depth to it, to where on the 3rd day, that Sunday, we've got a guy that can be competitive versus their guy who's pretty competitive as well. And so I think we did a nice job in year 1, and I think guys, our staff and our team is pretty excited about year 2 in Division 1.
Lead-off single for Aaron Hill, and now here's David Peralta, who's 2 for 3. Yeah, there's a lot of excitement about GCU's athletic programs and all the great work they've done with the basketball program too.
Yeah, they've done a wonderful job. Our administration, Brian Mueller and the guys there, they are sports fanatics, and I kind of equate Brian Mueller to the George Steinbrenner of college athletics. I mean, he
in a good way, right?
No, absolutely.
Okay.
He is fantastic. He's aggressive. He's competitive. He wants to win in everything he does, and from enrollment to all of it. He wants to do it really well, and so to be a coach at Grand Canyon, you're in a good spot.
Peralta, a double in the 1st, a single in the 4th. Another multi-hit game, his 16th this year. Well, give us your breakdown of the 2014 D-backs. What have you seen that you liked?
Well, they got off to the rough start. I think you eliminate that, it's a whole different season thus far. I think that as they move forward, it's just going to be a matter of grinding this thing out, and kind of a step at a time, trying to get back into this race. If you try to do it all at once in 1 month, I think you're going to be in trouble. But they have some games in front of them where they can just kind of pick away, and next thing you know, you find yourself kind of 5-6 games out, and then you catch a little roll, and who knows, And I know they've been hurt. It's been a huge issue with the ball club is they've been banged up, and gosh, it's hard. Bob knows, obviously, your team's banged up. When you're calling a lot of players up from the minor leagues that some maybe not quite ready to do it, but you got to do it anyway because you need them. It makes it a little bit more difficult. So credit to Kirk Gibson and his staff. These guys keep fighting. They're fun to watch, and what you've seen tonight, kind of fighting back into this game tonight. It's been fun to watch.
And David Peralta certainly falls into that category, but he's had a breakthrough season coming almost out of nowhere. Former pitcher with the Cardinals.
You know, we had a shot there briefly of the Diamondbacks dugout, and I think we probably don't give enough emphasis to the loss of A.J. Pollock. I mean, he was on his way to the All-Star game the way he was playing in the first half of the season before that broken hand, and he's a guy that you could plug in at the top of the batting order. The Diamondbacks have kind of been looking for somebody to fill that leadoff role, and A.J. looked like he was going to take it and run away and hide. And then the unfortunate broken hand injury put him on the shelf, and Diamondbacks and Kirk Gibson have kind of been searching for somebody at the top of the order. Aaron Hill filling that spot tonight.
1-2 to Peralta.
That leadoff guy's so important. He's your catalyst. He's your going to be a high on base percentage, a guy that can go deep in counts and just make pitchers work. And that's tough to lose that type of player.
Well, Andy, this is the toughest part of your job. It's that time again, the AT&T fan photo.
You didn't even know you were on the committee tonight.
I did not, but I'm excited to be on the committee.
But you did a heck of a job with your selection tonight from Nick.
Oh, nice.
Arr. A little pirate theme there.
Oh, yeah, he deserves it. No question. Look at that.
So thanks to all of you who tweeted in your fan photo with the hashtag and the Twitter and the whole thing, brought to you by AT&T. Here's Goldie, who homered his last time up, his 17th.
See, that was from PNC Park in Pittsburgh. That's nice road work there in the AT&T fan photo.
And the bar is back at its normal height now. The Brenly committee is back in session.
You'll notice that the quality of the photos has gone up the longer Webby's been gone.
Yeah, he's in a tough spot. He's right on the cusp, and then tough one there for Wellington Castillo. And Corey Blazier will give the Cubs catcher a moment.
You see Castillo, like a lot of catchers nowadays, wears the bill of the helmet forward rather than backward. I'm not sure if that helps on a foul ball like this. It still rattles your cage. Oh. Hello. Catchers, traditionally put that the bill of the helmet in the back and slide the mask over the front, but he's got the bill of the helmet pointing forward. I'm not sure if that gives him any little extra protection there or not.
0-1 to Goldie.
I would imagine in the college game you probably don't overshift an awful lot, but what do you think about all the shifting we've seen in Major League Baseball this year?
Well, I was funny you said that. Dane and Mike were watching it, and Dane said, "Dad, even before it was like Manchester just dropped a bunt down," and I'm like, "You're right. I mean, and I said, well, they don't necessarily pay Montero to get base hits, so they want doubles and triples out of him. But it is amazing the number of shifts that you've seen, and in college game, you don't see as much. Sometimes you ask a pitcher to pitch a certain spot, and he can't do it. And so you sometimes the shift will end up biting you in the end. And so there's a little bit. We have charts. We chart everything. We have an idea where guys will hit the ball. But to that extreme, there's been a couple instances when I've done that, and sure enough, it's backfired. And so I'm like, you know what? Don't overthink this thing, and just let the boys play.
A shot of the Sanderson Ford bullpen. Brad Ziegler will get the 8th. He looks ready, and Addison Reed standing by for the 9th. After Evan Marshall worked a 1-2-3-7. 2 balls and a strike to Goldie. Aaron Hill, the runner at first, 1 out. '96 right by him, 2-2.
Well, once again, talking about the move to D1, has that changed some of the opponents maybe that you play against in your non-conference games?
Yeah, absolutely. Last year we played University of Washington. We went to Kansas. I went to UC Irvine, who was a World Series team. We played a 3-game series down there. Next year we're going to go play at Oklahoma State. We're going to go to Cal Poly. So that's neat. We're going to go to Tennessee. So no question. I think that helps in recruiting. I think the young men that are looking at going to play college ball, they want to play in those big arenas, and so the school is great in affording us the opportunity to travel and play in some big ballparks in the SEC and the Pac-12, in the Big 12, and so it's a lot of fun. Last year we traveled a lot, being the first year we had to, but I think man for man, every member of our team would say they really enjoyed getting on the road and seeing different parts of the country.
Big time programs you're up against. 2-2 to Goldie. Are you getting talent from different parts of the country, or is it mostly Arizona?
Well, mostly Arizona, Steve. Yeah, mostly Arizona. But we're starting to trickle down into Southern California. We've got a couple players from Southern California, and you think that couldn't happen, but there's a lot of good baseball in Southern California. And there's a lot of guys that kind of want to get away. They want to get out of town, and we're a great location because we're an hour's flight from LA or Orange County, and we're a 6-hour drive if mom and dad want to get in the car. And so no, it's mostly Arizona boys, but got a kid from Colorado, a couple kids coming from Colorado, want to get out of that snow element. So no, we're starting to mostly west, on the west side here. But no, I think for the most part, I think we're going to continue to recruit as best we can in state, because I really believe there's great high school programs here and there's great junior college programs here as well.
Sure is. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Paul Goldschmidt. There goes Aaron Hill, ball 4. Well, Andy, you were talking about the importance of a leadoff hitter earlier in this half inning. And here is the lineup. You are our leadoff man, and we've got a whole bunch of star guest analysts coming up right behind you.
Got the Cardinals defensive end, I see, huh? Well, I hope I know a bit more about baseball than he does. That was
Kelly Stinnett, Junior Spivey, Doug Davis. So we'll have DeLay Campbell in tomorrow from the Cardinals, and then a whole string of former D-back greats.
Kelly Stinnett, teammate here in the inaugural year. Grinder.
Yeah.
Oh, man, he's fantastic.
Speaking of that inaugural year, I know somewhere in your house, Andy, either in a closet or out in the garage, you've got a duffel bag with one of those white hats in it.
You know what? I sure do, Bob. I do. The good humor hat, we used to call it. Yeah, the ice cream man. Yep, we have that guy.
You guys weren't fans of those hats?
Ooh, no. Guys weren't too excited about wearing those. I think it was a Sunday hat, right? Well, they wanted us to wear on Sundays.
That was in the day where you had all the crazy combinations, right?
Yes.
And I remember Buck Showalter telling me one time that he would have Lupe get a mannequin to put in the clubhouse and dress the mannequin so everyone would know what color to wear that day.
Yeah, everyone would say, hey, what jerseys are we wearing? Hey, what hats are we wearing? What are we doing? Guys in the field, taking the field, not sure what we were wearing that day.
Yeah, see in the background there in the dugout, those are the ice cream man hats.
Yeah, they are. Yep.
Very distinctive, though. There was no doubting who was playing if you were watching a highlight show at a bar or something and the volume was turned off and you saw those white hats. You knew it was the D-backs.
1-1.
Like the Cubs had a pickoff play on there with Paul Goldschmidt at first base. Anthony Rizzo had broken in from this position, but Wellington Castillo either couldn't find the handle or decided it wasn't going to be close enough to risk a throw.
Miguel Montero has singled and scored a run his last time up, 1 for 3.
Castillo has a good arm behind the plate. The numbers might not reflect that. He's only thrown out 20% of the attempted base stealers, but he loves to throw to the bases. Very quick release.
1-2.
Oh.
Well, Goldie thought about moving up, but Aaron Hill wasn't going anywhere. So Paul will scamper back to the bag at first.
Been a rough night back there for Wellington Castillo, starting with Edwin Jackson bouncing balls out on the infield grass. Took that one very high in the upper body there somewhere. Goldie, as you mentioned, got a good read and was ready to advance, but Aaron Hill saw that ball out in front of home plate and decided it wasn't worth the risk.
So it's 2-2 to Miggy, 2 on, 1 out. Out of play. Andy, this guy we pointed out, identified at the beginning of the year, they really needed Miguel Montero to have a bounce back season, and he has surpassed, I think, expectations.
No, he's done a great job. You look at Paul Goldschmidt and him. It's kind of it's a formidable 1-2 punch there in the middle of the lineup. And I think they've both done a great job of just grinding out ABs and driving in big runs when they needed them, and you you get the guys around and the rest of the pieces of the puzzle, the guys get healthy again. You've got two terrific big league players, all-stars, in the middle of your lineup here in Arizona.
And Miguel Montero, from all of last year, 11 homers, 14 doubles, equal to what he had last season. He's got 10 more RBIs than he had all of last year. Make it now another big RBI spot right here. In the air, left field, Coghlan. 2 down. It never goes out of style.
There it is. Yes, that's vintage right there.
Bringing back the memories, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I think I wore it on game day. I'm not sure I've worn it since. Yeah.
Guy shows up wearing a white hat. Normally you think, well, they're coming for me.
Ain't that the truth? The first year I started coaching the Yankees in spring training, they have the coaching staffs wear a white cap as well, with the NY. And I was, why did we do this? Can't we wear just the regular blue hat?
You can't escape, can you?
And they said that Mr. Steinbrenner, when he shows up at spring training, he can't tell, who the players are from the coaches. So the coaches wear the white hats, and he wanted to make sure the coaches were working. And so he'd show up at spring training and see all his white hats just buzzing around the field. Boy, just staying busy.
So he's out on those backfields in his golf cart, making sure everybody's
absolutely
coming through. 0-1 to Trumbo. Singleton scored a run his last time up, 1 for 3. Did you deal with the boss a lot in your day ever?
Well, when I came up in 92 and with the Yanks in 93, he was there in 92, but he got in that little issue with, I think, with the whole Winfield stuff. Remember where he got suspended for a little bit. Yeah. So 92, I saw him a lot, and then when I came back to start coaching in the minor leagues with the Yankees, as a home in Tampa, and so I spent a lot of time in Tampa with spring training and extended spring and the Gulf Coast League, all that. So I saw Mr. Steinbrenner quite a bit. A lot back then. And we talked about the upcoming players, and he was a great man to work for. He just obviously very demanding, but fair, and just wanted the best for the players, and took care of even the minor leaguers. The Yankees take care of their minor leaguers just like they take care of their big leaguers.
2-1. '96, 2-2.
Power against power right there. Ramirez with a laser beam straight fastball right in the middle of the plate.
Just a straight four-seamer, huh? Just then let it go.
In time. Diamondbacks strand 2. Andy Stankiewicz, great job, thanks, and we'll see you on the postgame show.
Pleasure being here, guys. Thank you.
Baseball is brought to you by your Helpful Valley Honda dealers. It's a 5-4 D-backs lead over the Cubs as we start the 8th with some changes for the Diamondbacks. And let's start on the mound. Evan Marshall worked a 1-2-3 7th, and on in the 8th is Brad Ziegler.
50th appearance of the season for Brad Ziegler. He's been by far the most consistent pitcher for the Diamondbacks all season long. We talked about it earlier. Marshall in the 7th, Ziegler in the 8th, Reed in the 9th when the Diamondbacks have a lead late, so far following the script.
And defensively they make some changes to get a bit better out there as well. Mark Trumbo is out of the ball game. David Peralta moves from center to left, and Ender Inciarte takes over in center field. Top of the order up for the Cubs in the 8th. It's Chris Conklin, who's 0 for 3.
Looks like Ender Inciarte is going to go into the 9 spot in the lineup, and Brad Ziegler, the pitcher, will go into the 5 spot formerly occupied by Mark Trumbo.
Two and one on Coghlan. He's hit safely in 4 straight and 13 of his last 14, but is hitless tonight, 0 for 3. This is a guy who was the 2009 National League Rookie of the Year. He had .321 with the Marlins that year, but has just never come anywhere close to that level of production since.
Nice job in the last couple innings offensively by the D-backs. The Cubs, believe it or not, their bullpen has held the opposition to the 3rd lowest batting average in the National League. Only the Padres and the Giants have held the opposition to a lower batting average, and the Diamondbacks banged them around for 5 hits and 2 runs in an inning and 2/3.
Base hit for Coghlan, leadoff man aboard in the 8th. He's now hitting 5 straight. That's the whole bomb that the Diamondbacks have been going to all night long.
Yeah, that frisbee just didn't get in there quite far enough. Kind of hung over the inside corner of the plate, allowing Coghlan to line it past Paul Goldschmidt into right field for a leadoff base hit.
So the tying runs aboard. There's Mendy Alcantara. Is the hitter. He walked and scored back in the 4th. He's 0 for 2. He came in on the first of 2 Anthony Rizzo home runs, and Rizzo is on deck. Goldschmidt, can they turn it? 3-6. Nope, that's all they'll get. Alcantara runs very well and got up the line quickly.
I don't think they would have had a chance to double up the speedy second baseman for the Cubs, but Brad Ziegler got caught spectating a little bit on the mound that time. I think he thought Goldie was going to try to take it by himself, the 3-6-3. Ziegler took a couple of steps and then just kind of jogged over toward first base. No chance to get Alcantara.
And now trouble. Anthony Rizzo grounded out in the 1st, hit a 2-run homer in the 4th, a solo shot in the 6th. Both homers were absolutely crushed. So he has now homered 5 times in his last 9 games. There's a strike on 1. Cubs have only 6 hits tonight, but 2 of them are Rizzo homers. Ziegler jumps ahead 0-2. Center field, Inciarte. That young man can cover some ground in the gaps.
Made somewhat easier by the fact he was playing really deep out there for Rizzo in center field. Takes that direct line over toward the gap in left center field. Makes the catch just before running onto the warning track. Taking away possible extra bases from Rizzo that time.
I don't think David Peralta gets to that ball. He was out in center field for the first 7 innings. So the defensive change works out very well for Kirk Gibson with Inciarte out there and Peralta now in left. Starlin Castro with 2 outs. He has walked, struck out, and popped up 0 for 2. Starlin Castro, mentioned earlier, still just 24. Only 20 players in baseball history have had at least 850 hits through their age 24 season. Castro just turned 24 in March and begins the weekend with 795 hits. So he's got about 2 months and 2 weeks to get 55 more hits. That'll give him 850 through his age 24 season. Only 20 players ever to have done that, and their names are Cobb, Kaline, Aaron, Mantle, Clemente.
That's a nice list. You go back to the beginning of the 2010 season. He's third in the National League in total hits. Only Hunter Pence and Andrew McCutchen have recorded more base hits over that time period.
You got to be granted time, Starlin. That's still how that works. It's 0-2. Blazer didn't flinch.
You'll see if you watch his mouth. But as you said, the umpire has to grant you timeout. You can't just request it.
Well, we've talked about the speed that young Cubs second baseman Arizmendi Alcantara has, and he's in there at second. And he's the tying run. His second stolen base tonight.
Domingue throwing from his knees once again. I think that's just a byproduct of the jump that Alcantara had over there at first base. Just didn't have time to get to his feet and make a strong throw. Just try to unload it as quickly as possible. And in that case, hope he overslides the base.
1-2 on Castro. Got him. Brad Ziegler strands the tying run in scoring position with a strikeout of Starlin Castro. As we head to the home half of the 8th, it's 5-4 D-backs. have a 5-4 lead home half of the eighth despite a pair of Anthony Rizzo home runs. The Diamondbacks stringing together a bunch of hits, started with Goldie's homer in the sixth.
Goldie's opposite field homer, and then Miguel Montero heads up baseball, takes advantage of that shift, bunts his way on. Parra with an opposite field sacrifice fly. Didi Gregorius going the other way, driving home a run. A lot of good things happening offensively in that inning for the Diamondbacks.
D-backs have out-hit the Cubs 12-6, but lead it 5-4, and the sixth pitcher of the night for the Cubs. On for the 45th time to lead the team is the right-hander Justin Grimm. Martin Prado leads off the Arizona eighth. Prado, Parra, Gregorius 6, 7, and 8. It's been a two-hit night for Martin Prado. A pair of singles, he scored a run.
Well, I've talked about it many times in the past, partner. This is what you love to see in the first game of a series. Force that other team to run out a bunch of relief pitchers. At least get a look at them. Update your advanced scouting reports. Update your video scouting. And also get that word-of-mouth scouting from one hitter back to the bench, telling guys what he saw. In this case, Justin Grimm on the mound for the Cubs.
Bounce to short, Starlin Castro.
Open up a whole can of bullpen in game one. Hopefully take some of these guys out of the equation in the next couple games.
They got a pretty big can back there. They're going essentially with a three-man rotation going into and coming out of the All-Star break as Addison Reed is warming in the Sanderson Ford bullpen. He'll get the ninth. Cubs in the ninth will have Valbuena, Ruggiano, and Sweeney scheduled 5, 6, and 7. So Reed will avoid Rizzo and Castro. Martin Prado really not happy with Corey Blazer back there.
He's been unhappy every at bat in this ball game. Blazer's called at least one pitch in every at bat that Martin took exception to. That boiled over rather quickly there. I'm not sure if Martin has been ejected from this ball game. Martin obviously said something right there on his way past. Blazer held up a hand as if to say, that's it, I'm not going to listen to any more. And when Martin said one more word, that was it.
Kirk Gibson has just been ejected as well. Jim Joyce, the crew chief, is over there now, standing between Blazer, the plate umpire, and the Diamondback manager. Well, with a replay now, this is not something we see a whole lot of. Jim Joyce has had enough. So Martin Prado and Kirk Gibson have been run here in the eighth.
The ejected player has to immediately and swiftly leave the dugout.
He's going to collect his notebooks and such. Second time this year Kirk Gibson has been ejected. Here's Gerardo Parra. Corey Blazer, the plate umpire, will get third base tomorrow, and Martin Prado will be over there with him, so they'll have a chance to talk about this all night tomorrow.
Well, the question is who's going to be down at third base when we go back out for the bottom of the ninth inning. Now that Martin has been ejected from this game, you would assume Nick Ahmed will come into the ball game and possibly play third.
Didi Gregorius did start a game at third this year.
Didi's played a little third base. There's some options there, but it won't be Martin Prado.
1-1 on Parra.
I mentioned in every at bat in this ball game, there's been at least one delivery that Martin Prado did not like, and apparently that was the one in this particular at bat that eventually boiled him over as he made his way back to that third base dugout.
And Jim Joyce had to come over, the crew chief from first base, and get involved and eject Kirk Gibson. Boy, Wellington Castillo, he might need a week off after tonight.
When's that All-Star break?
He is earning every penny back there tonight.
Well, that one got him in the right forearm. I believe him, Mark.
Ara has singled and scored a run. He also drove in a run with a sacrifice fly. Chases another one at 96, and there's the strikeout, 2 down.
Shortstop.
There comes Gregorius. A pair of RBI singles tonight for Didi. He's 2 for 3. And that's going to get him our APS Energy All-Star Award tonight. And the big one was in the 6th that made it 5-4 Diamondbacks. Cubs, another one of these teams that just seems to have a long supply of guys that come in and throw 95, 96, 97. That's life in the major leagues these days.
Yeah, Grimm's a little bit of an oddity in that he throws both a curveball and a slider. A lot of short relievers throw one or the other, but rarely do they throw both. But he has a curveball and a slider to go along with that mid-90s fastball.
Well, if Didi does indeed move over to play third, he's had one game in his career over there. That was June 19th against Milwaukee. He played all 9 innings in that ball game at third base. Two balls and a strike. Didi recalled from AAA Reno on June 4th. Remember, he homered in his first 2 games back. He always likes to make a splash. But he has played 23 games since his return from the minors. 22 of them starts, and during that stretch he's hit about 240. The pool, an inviting target for a left-hand hitter here at Chase. Diamondbacks began tonight 13.5 games behind the Dodgers. LA lost at St. Louis today 3-2. Giants 9-1 winners at Miami. Padres tied up with the Mets right now 4-4. Colorado lost at PNC Park in Pittsburgh 4-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. This might be playable. Long way to go for Valbuena, but he gets there. And Grimm works a 1-2-3/8 and sends us to the 9th. It's a 5-4 Diamondback lead, and Addison Reed is coming in. bottom of the 8th inning. So on for the 9th at third. In place of Prado is Didi Gregorius, who moves over from short. And Nick Ahmed takes over at shortstop. And the new pitcher for the Diamondbacks, the closer, it's Addison Reed. On for the 40th time this year. 21 of 26 save opportunities. His last appearance was Saturday, almost a week ago. That was at San Francisco when he locked down his 21st save. Faced 3 batters, worked a 1-2-3-9. 3 batters, 3 outs on 9 pitches. And you're looking for the same right here. He has seen the Cubs before, of course, in his days in that crosstown rivalry with the White Sox, and has pitched well. He'll face Luis Valbuena, Justin Ruggiano, and Ryan Sweeney, scheduled for the Cubs in the 9th, 5, 6, and 7. Valbuena doubled and scored in the 4th. He is 1 for 3. There's a strike, 0-1. Valbuena up there, 5 for his last 35. And 2. Ender Inciarte in center field for the D-backs, shaded well over toward right center, so there's a whole lot of room in left center field. Now Ender will creep back.
Yeah, with 2 strikes, he'll move a few steps back towards straightaway center field, figuring that Valbuena is going to be a little bit more defensive in a 2-strike count, maybe not quite as likely to pull the ball.
Here's the 0-2. Nice catch by that D-backs fan who brought his mitt. High fives all around.
Even from a Cubs fan.
Good crowd here tonight at Chase Field on a Friday night. More than 32,000. So come on down and join us over the weekend. 2 more against the Cubs. Goldie T-shirt day tomorrow. First 20,000 fans get a Goldie All-Star T-shirt. dbacks.com/tickets. Two balls and 2 strikes. Fastball there, maybe right at the knees. Question with Addison, of course, can he command the fastball, and how often, if at all, will he throw that slider?
The slider's a little bit of a dangerous pitch to Luis Valbuena, a guy that does have good pull power. Pitches on that inner third of the plate, and that's normally where that slider is going to end up.
This is down and away, and it's full, 3-2.
Fans wanted it. Miggy caught it well, made it look good, but well off that outside corner.
Ninth pitch of the at-bat coming up for Addison Reed. right field, right at Gerardo Parra. Allowed out number 1. And there's a fan on the field. Security is addressing this young man. Let's take a look at the sequence to Valbuena.
Ended up with a fastball up and out over the plate. Fortunately, Valbuena tries to pull it and loses some of his zip on that ball. Hits a hard line drive, but right at Gerardo Parra, well short of that warning track.
And now this stupidity is being dealt with, and we can continue the ball game.
The security here at Chase Field is much kinder and gentler than the security at Old Candlestick back in the day. If you ran on the field as a fan and the security had to come out and get you, oh my. We used to run from the bullpen down the tunnel just to watch the after effects.
Parra seems to have, the dude left his celly behind. I say we make some calls. Start hitting some buttons. Hello, China.
Hey, call Venezuela.
Call Papa John's. Get a pizza. We're 2 outs away.
There you go.
All right. Nice work down there by Kirk Farley, our Golden Glover. 1 away. Here's Ruggiano. Justin Ruggiano 0 for 3. So you would gather and watch the security people?
Oh, yeah.
Have a conversation. I'm sure it's just a conversation.
Absolutely.
Fair, friendly warning kind of a thing.
I remember one night there was a San Francisco PD officer out there, and he was really letting this guy have a verbal beating. My parents are in the stands tonight. You're going to embarrass me in front of my parents by running onto my field during the game. Oh, my goodness.
Scott Chan down there helping out with security. Well, it's hard to believe that kind of thing would ever happen in San Francisco. Yeah. 2-1.
Most people didn't want to come out from underneath their blankets long enough to run onto the field.
Needed to run around to warm up. And Reed behind here, 3-1.
That only got our attention because it so rarely happens here at Chase Field. Sean McGuire and his staff do such a great job of security here at Chase. Fans come out and enjoy the ball game, have all the fun you want, but just stay off the field.
Tying run aboard with 1 out.
They do have a little bit of speed over there on the bench. The Cubs do in that first base dugout. Junior Lake not in the starting lineup tonight. Certainly a guy that's capable of stealing a base should Rick Renteria decide to go that direction.
So you've got former D-back great Eric Hinsky down there coaching first for the Cubs this year. But it looks like Ruggiano will remain the base runner for Ryan Sweeney. Ruggiano, if you're wondering, 1 for 4 on his stolen base attempts this year. There's the strike. Sweeney an RBI single in the 4th. He's 1 for 3.
Diamondbacks playing their no doubles defense in the outfield. Everybody playing really close to the warning track all the way around. Idea being you don't want that runner to score from first base on an extra base hit. However, on a routine single that rolls through the infield, Ruggiano should easily be able to go first to third.
Yeah, any flare is certainly going to drop in. There goes Ruggiano. Montero's throw is high, and it's off the glove of Ahmed and rolls into right field, and Ruggiano, the tying run, is in at third.
Addison Reed is susceptible to the stolen base. Takes him a little while to unload to home plate. Not a great throw by Miggy, but a throw that should have been caught, in my opinion. Nick Ahmed came off the bag realizing they had no chance to get the base runner. He just missed the ball. Flanked off his glove, went out into shallow right center field.
Stolen base E2. The error on the throw from Montero puts Ruggiano at third with one out and a 1-1 count on Sweeney. Infielded on the edge of the grass, popped up. Didi Gregorius, 2 down. That is a huge out, number 2.
Very hittable fastball that time, right down the middle of the plate. Sweeney just got under it, popped it high in the air to the left side.
Boy, that's one Sweeney would like to have back. Wellington Castillo, 0 for 3, is struck out twice. Strike one. Pitcher spot is due up next. John Baker is in the on-deck circle for the Cubs. Oh, 0-1 on Wellington Castillo. Oh, 2. .66 games to go for the D-backs, trying to start the second half on a winning note. Cubs with a tying run at third, 2 outs and an 0-2 count on Castillo. Got him. Diamondbacks were down 3-0 at one point, but they win it 5-4 and start the second half of this season with a big W to open up not only the second half but this homestand.
What a great job by the Diamondbacks bullpen tonight. 4 innings in relief of Trevor Cahill. Gave up only 2 base hits. One of them was the very first batter faced by Yuri De La Rosa. Anthony Rizzo with the home run and only 1 other hit off the D-backs pen tonight. Great job.
Trevor Cahill gets a no decision, gives up 3 runs on 4 hits in 5 innings. He walked 2 and struck out 3. After the home run that Bob mentioned that De La Rosa gave up, it's Marshall, Ziegler, and Reed to close out. The Diamondbacks win 5-4. Let's start Diamondbacks Live, the post-game show. Andy Stankiewicz is out in center field with Cindy Brunson. Cindy.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Save number 22 on the season for Addison Reed. No doubt the whole way, right, Coach?
Not a question. No doubt about it. Great
Lots in this game. A rally. We saw Cahill for the first time start a game since April 13th. What impressed you the most?
Well, I thought he did a great job. I thought Trevor did a nice job. He had that one tough inning where he got in some trouble and he gave up some runs. But other than that, I thought he threw the ball pretty well. And I like the at-bats that the Diamondbacks put together. You're down 3-0 and you just kind of keep scratching and clawing at the big homer by Goldschmidt. Nice job to stand up in the middle of the diamond, get some big hits.
All that kind of analysis is on the way. Andy Stankiewicz is ready, as am I. Diamondbacks Live comes your way as the D-backs come out of the break with a W. The 18th win here at Chase Field this season. We'll have reaction from the clubhouse and oh so much more next.